Alright, so January finally has ended. It seems like this year has been going on for a long time. And because I've only seen 2 movies that were released this year, I still plan on seeing Plane, There's Something Wrong with the Children, and Shotgun Wedding. But because I've only seen 2 movies that have released this month/year, I decided that I'm going to bring back a series that I used to do a long time ago, which basically is a haul of everything I got, plus what I watched this month. When I say there's a series, I mean I did one video of it a long time ago that just took so much time to edit and so much time to make that I was just like, and then my schedule just didn't fit. I've been wanting to do one of these for so long, I just never could because my schedule would not fit. And so right now is a perfect time because I only have a couple videos I need to make for my main channel, and so right now is a perfect time to bring back the series, which is something I want to do. And so we're going to talk about the movies I've seen this month first, and then we're going to talk about this pile right here of everything that I have picked up in January. I almost said March, and March is next month. What? And just for notice, I don't know which Funko Pops I picked up here and which Funko Pops I picked up there. For future notice, I'm putting in a pile of everything I picked up in the month because, you know, a lot of it just, it's hard to keep track of. And so, yeah, that's all for the intro. We're going to start off with what I watched, and for this, I'm going to be using Letterboxd because I now log every movie I watch. So we're going to hit Diary, and then in January, I watched one, well, thing is, sometimes I take a little break from Letterboxd, and then I just catch up later. So a lot of these I didn't start watching until the 9th, because on the 9th I logged 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I logged 5 movies when in reality I only watched 1, and so yeah, that's what just happens with me. And like for February, the 3 movies I've already watched, I haven't even logged on Letterboxd yet. So if you're wondering why I just drop them all of a sudden, it's because I just sit down and I just write. I don't reserve a time for it. Alright, we're gonna get started. 9th place, Megan. And this is exactly what I expected a January horror movie to be. It is kind of dull at times, and there's not a lot of kills, but for the dullness, I was just like, throughout the entire movie, I sat back and was like, okay, this is gonna get fun. And when it got fun, it was just like, okay, alright, okay. And then by the time the end of the movie is, it just dulls it all down because it actually got entertaining at the end, and just by how long it was and how dulled down it felt, I just got very bored of this one. The performances were still great. There's some alright emotions. It was just kind of a dull film at the end of it, and it's just not anything you gotta go rush out to see in the theaters. Next thing I watched in this month is The Fabelmans, which is a movie that I watched and I did include for my ranking of the end of the year. But The Fabelmans is, it's a pretty good movie. It's actually really great. It's a heartfelt drama about Spielberg's life, and it's really well done in that manner to well. Everything about the film just matters. The score is great. The acting is great. It's just so emotional watching this family fall apart, and you feel that it's emotional Spielberg, to where I can't come out here and say that this isn't Spielberg's best film. This is Spielberg's best film. I'm gonna a Knives Out mystery, and this one was kind of disappointing, and it was nowhere near close to the first film, but I had fun with it. Everyone had layers, which hence the name Glass Onion, thanks to you, Shrek. Everyone has layers, and everyone is so good in this movie. The entire cast just combines into a great experience to where you just like all these characters and you want to know who was the murderer. The mystery is kind of dull along the way. Like, it starts off and then there's a murder, and then you're like, okay, I can see where this is going. All of a sudden it switches gears, and at first I was like, I don't like this. This is dumb, this is stupid, this doesn't work. And then all of a sudden, there's a very ballsy plot twist along there, and I was like, I just didn't care much for it until I did. And then when I started caring much for it, it just really worked in that way. And it was a bit disappointing that Benoit Blanc wasn't the lead star here. The movie was just a bit disappointing in general. It's a solid movie. I'd much rather watch the first one again, though. Then we have a triple feature of the John Wick franchise. I sat down and I watched all 3 John Wick movies. The first one I gave 3 stars. I think I would move that down to 2.5. It was just... Keanu is great. The action is good. The story as itself is just a bit mediocre. It's just like, oh, he's going for revenge. Couldn't have seen that one in a billion other films. It was just kind of like a dual story and dual pacing to where I just sat back and I was like, okay, alright, that's okay. John Wick Chapter 2, however, it ups the ante on literally every single thing that happened in the first film, and it's better. It's just better story, better action, better everything about this movie, to where I left this one, I was like, I think I'm gonna love the John Wick franchise, because John Wick Chapter 2 is just such a well done movie. And then the third one, John Wick Chapter 3 happened, and real quick, I apologize, my dogs are going nuts in the background, but John Wick Chapter 3, and it just kind of throws this entire franchise down a cornhole. It's just like, oh, let's make this the most cheesy, over-the-top action movie to where everything feels like a joke. I watched this at night, and I was like, okay, this is a good movie. It's just a bit crazy, and I thought I was hallucinating because I was so tired, so I turned it off. I watched it the next morning before work. I was not hallucinating. That was exactly how this movie was. It was just so corny, cheesy, ridiculous, and it kind of just makes me lose my interest. I was very uninterested in the movie by the end of it, and that's just very disappointing because I love the John Wick franchise so far. And so, just after John Wick 3, I'm just like, I'm excited for the next movie. It's just, I'm also a bit nervous for it because it's just, this third movie is just a very, very cheesy, and I don't want the rest of the franchise to go down the cheese hole. Then we got Sick, the other 2023 movie. It's an alright movie with decent kills and an interesting twist. There is pretty great acting, and even though it runs too long at the end, I enjoyed this one. The twist was well done, the writing was well done, the acting was well done. It's just a home invasion movie from the start that I had a blast with. There's not really much to say about this except that it was way too long, and it just kind of left me with a bitter taste in my mouth by the end. But Sick was a solid movie. I'm not spending too much time on that one because I have a whole video out of that one. But Sick, very solid movie. Then we got Split. And this is one that's going to be a minute. It was a pretty good thriller for the first 2 acts. And then it goes on. And the ending, in a classic M. Night way, makes the film just go way off to where I definitely lost interest in this one. M. Night is this writer and director who makes his films have these big twists that pop, and then all of a sudden they either work or they don't, and this one did not work, mainly because it doesn't make sense at all. The big twist is that this guy is a beast. He's an actual living beast. And then, yeah, that makes no sense. There's minimal setup for that. He goes crazy, and it's just ruins everything the thriller had. And sure, there were some shocking moments along the way, but at the end, I was just like, it just goes way off, and I'm like, okay, I don't like the direction where this is going, and it never fixes itself. And so something that I wanted to be so great, it just totally just crashes towards the end, and I hate saying that. And because I have to wait for Knock at the Cabin to go to Peacock, I was planning on going to go see it, but long story, I might have time to watch the rest of this trilogy, so I can do a ranking, maybe even the rest of his films, I don't really know. Then after that, there was Murder Mystery, and it's a mediocre, but very fun Adam Sandler mystery movie. It did have way too many twist reveals in the end of this one. It was just like, okay, it's this guy. Huh, okay. Nope, it's this guy. For real? Okay, that works. It's this guy, and there was like 3 twist reveals to where either everyone by the end of the film was either dead or a killer, and it's just like, okay, that's crazy. And it just kind of got too off the rails at the end for me, and it was a bit too long. Again, with the more killers than it needed to be, it runs a bit too long, but it was fun. I loved Adam Sandler's and Jennifer Aniston's chemistry, and it was just made to be a fun Adam Sandler movie. It doesn't have to be anything else but a fun Adam Sandler movie, and that's what it works. It's just a solid 3-star movie. That's all it is. And then my best friend came over, and we did a horror movie double feature. First one, Jigsaw. I know, why am I starting with Jigsaw instead of Saw? I don't know. Don't ask me. Jigsaw is a very fun slasher. It's nothing special. It's got cringe moments, but good cringe. Like, you know how, like, torture porn? I sat back and I was like, oh wow. Oh wow. Oh wow. Oh wow. That was my face the entire movie. And it's done in a really well done way to where I was just cringing every 3 seconds at the darkness and bloodiness that this movie had. It did have a few great twists too. I do like the idea of having the main killer be the actual killer. I did like that because no one expected it, and that's what they did. And I could tell hardcore fans of the franchise didn't like that, but this is my first Saw movie, so of course I'm going to enjoy that at least. And it was well done. The thing is, it's only a solid 3-star film. It's got twists, it's got turns, it's got nothing else besides that. And I can tell by the end of it, it's just another Saw movie. I can tell why people were disappointed with this one, because you sit down and you watch this movie and you're like, what's the deal with this one? There was absolutely nothing special about it. Nothing at all. It's just a slasher, just like the other Saw movies. And I haven't even seen the other Saw movies, anything I can tell. There's nothing special about this one, besides a couple well-done twists. And the last movie in January I watched, Scream. Frick it, I'm giving 5 stars. That's my whole review, right there. Frick it, I'm giving it 5 stars. This movie is well done in every single way. I don't really want to talk about this. I have a whole review of it, and I also have a whole ranking of the Scream movies when Scream 6 comes out, but I do, like, everything about this movie is great. The writing, the kills, the horror, literally everything about this movie is just a fantastic film. I just think that Scream is one of the best horror movies of all time. It's one of the best made horror movies of all time. It's just an absolute perfect film. I said it. Scream is perfect. The first time I watched this movie, I did not want to give it 5 stars. I gave it 4.5 because along the way, I didn't really enjoy it as much along the way until we got to the twist. The twist made this movie. But along the way, on rewatch, you just notice these things that just make this movie worth watching. That was everything I watched in January. I will try to do one of those in February where I talk about that. But we do have to talk about everything I picked up, starting with the movies. And this isn't everything because I don't remember everything I got. Like I said, I definitely have to like put stuff in a pile from here on out. That's what I'm planning on doing, but this is everything that I remember buying this month. Dark Knight Rises. Never actually seen The Dark Knight Rises. I've seen The Dark Knight, one of my favorite movies of all time. I've seen Batman Begins. Not a very great beginning, but it's alright. Dark Knight Rises, I watched a TV version of this, and I was like, okay, this is boring. And then I had an appointment to go to, and I was going to come home and finish it, but I didn't like it, so I didn't. And that's my mistake. I bought the Blu-ray so I can finally sit down and I can finally watch this movie and complete Nolan's trilogy. I already did a ranking of it, but it's really not fair because I never actually finished this movie. First Man, Ryan Gosling in First Man. I never realized that this was Damien Chazelle's movie. I always thought this was just like a movie that people said was dull, and then I got into it and I was like, this is directed by Damien Chazelle? People actually love this movie? What? And so Damien Chazelle is a filmmaker I'm interested in. You do have to be a certain kind of mood to watch movies like these, though, and I haven't been in that mood yet. And so First Man will be in the pile. I plan on having a Damien Chazelle ranking sometime this year. Rocky Balboa, and we all know another Creed movie is coming out next month. I do plan on going to go see that. And so Rocky Balboa is a movie I also need to see for the ranking in the end. And so Rocky Balboa is a movie that I'm excited for. Along the way, the Rocky franchise just gets kind of dull and uninteresting, but all of a sudden you can have like a reboot with a solid enough story, and that seems to be the reboot with a solid enough story. I'm excited for that one. Then we got Warm Bodies, a movie about zombies, and originally I wanted to watch this one a long time ago, but I figured it would just be like a cringy zombie romance. And then my mother actually saw this one. She's like, you should buy this, it's really good. And so if my mother likes it, I typically enjoy weird movies that my mother likes, so I picked it up. I don't really have that much excitement for this one. It'll be a movie that maybe me and her will watch one day when we're home. And so, not really super excited for this one, but it'll be a fun experience to watch with my mother. The last actual Blu-ray on this list, The Hateful Eight. Quentin Tarantino, I also plan on doing a ranking of his in the next couple of years because he's a filmmaker that interests me. I'm not sure if I'll love a bunch of his movies. A lot of his movies seem to me like they'll just be these movies that are like just big, over the top, and more stylized towards like mature people. That's not me. I like the big, awesome action movies and cinematic movies, so I'm not sure what I'll think of these. I'm not sure if I'll be bored by them. Quentin Tarantino is a director that I'm interested in, and this cast is stacked. I mean, we have Samuel Jackson, Kurt Russell, Jennifer Jason Leigh, Walter Goggins, Damon Bichir, Tim Roth, Michael Madsen, and Bruce Stern. This cast is absolutely insane. Alright, we got a crap ton of steelbooks. Now, actually, we do have one more Blu-ray on this list. I have no idea why I put it in the bottom. Rogue One. And I posted a video about Andor a couple of days ago. Andor is just not a movie I like, or show I like. I did not like Andor at all. I just thought it was boring, uninteresting, dull. And so going into Rogue One, I just have absolutely no expectations for it whatsoever. If it's like Andor, it's just going to be a waste of 2 hours to where I could have been watching something else. I will watch it because I do plan on having a full Star Wars ranking this year. It's just not one that I'm really looking forward to, especially if it's like Andor. Alright, now we got 1, 2, 3, 4 steelbooks that I did pick up. My steelbook collection is growing. I really do have to do a Blu-ray collection because I got a whole 5 shelves over there full of at least 100 Blu-rays or DVDs each. It's crazy. And half the time I still don't know if I'm in the mood what to watch. And so the first steelbook I got, Shaun of the Dead. I believe this is Edgar Wright's movie. I'm not sure if Edgar Wright, I believe Edgar Wright directs this one. He's a director that I did see Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. I'm not that big of a fan of that movie. But Shaun of the Dead is a movie that I am definitely interested in. I do think that this has potential to be a very fun movie. And so I will check it out because zombie movies are very nice. Simon Pegg is an excellent actor. I have hopes for that movie. What I'm never going to watch for a long time, but my Walmart had exclusive steelbooks for it, Terrifier 2. You all know why I'm not going to watch this movie, right? Right? It's because it's freaking Terrifier 2. There's a scene where he pulls a girl limb by limb while her mother watches. That crap terrifies me. Not planning on watching this one for a long time, but when I'm, like, adult, maybe I will, you know? Maybe I will. Because I saw Barbarian. It's absolute freaking nuts. I love that movie. But it's just like one of those movies that, like, you gotta sleep with the lights on after that. And Terrifier 2 will definitely be that. I'm terrified of clowns. But who knows? Maybe I will watch this one. I will have a review of Barbarian up on my second channel in these next couple of weeks. It's a movie I definitely need to talk about because it's just so good. Then we got Ghostbusters. A Ghostbusters steelbook. Ghostbusters, the classic movie that everyone loves, right? Right? Well, I was hoping that I would open this one. I actually didn't see the art. I was hoping I would open this one and it would prove that it's this movie right here. The one with the girls. Whoopie-doo. Honestly, if we're being honest, I'm not that big of a Ghostbusters fan. I watched the first one, I was like, it's okay, the cast is great. Never seen the second one. This movie, not a big fan of. Ghostbusters Afterlife, not a big fan of. So this is not really a franchise for me, but this steelbook is it's really cool. This steelbook is kick butt. This is a very, very good steelbook. I mean, just look at everything about this one. I had to pick it up. Like, if I didn't pick this up, I would be a disappointment. Can you guess what this is? You know it. It's Nope. Nope is one of the best movies, one of the most craziest movies that I've ever seen, and I absolutely love it. I had to pick up the steelbook for it. I mean, I have the steelbook for Jurassic World Dominion, which is a movie I like. I'm picking up steelbooks for every movie I really love, and I really love this movie. It's just got a passion in my heart for everything that that Jordan Peele was able to do with this movie, and more. Is just primed for one of the best movies of all time, one of the most psychological movies of all time, one of the scariest movies of all time, and the steelbook is just so good. You gotta see the movie to even know what the steelbook's about, It's just such a scary and interesting movie. It's just like Get Out, where you have to think about this one for days, and I could not get this movie out of my head. It's just so perfect. The more I think about it, the more I want to give it number 1 on my list for 2022, but I couldn't because it's not my favorite, and that sucks. It's just really sucks because the year had so many great movies, and I really want to give that one, but it has to go to other movies that are more respectable. And then we got action figures, and we do have... Didn't I have one more? I could have swore I did have one more. Where'd it go, actually? Oh, there you are. I forgot I put them on that side. Alright, so we got a couple of action figures. First thing I'm going to start off with, though, is a pop pen. It's of Carnage. It's pretty neat. I'm not really sure what I'm going to put it on, but, I mean, it's a really cool design, and my brother picked it out for me, so respect to him. It's a very neat pop pen. I really like that. It's very cool looking. And then we got a couple of Marvel Legends, and that'll end this video. Let's start off with the first one I got, which my mother bought me, picked me out. There's this store in about half an hour away from where I live that's called Planet Overstock, and it's basically just like when Walmart overstocks things, they'll buy it from them, and then they will just sell it at their store for a much cheaper price. And they have like amazing Funko Pops, they got amazing action figures, and so this is where I'm gonna get all my Marvel Legends from now on. First one my mother picked up for me is Moon Knight. It's a very cool looking character. The show isn't perfect, it's got its flaws, but it's a very good show. I really enjoy that. And Oscar Isaac is one of the best Marvel characters that has come out in Phase 4, probably the best Marvel character. And so of course I had to get his Marvel Legend. It's a really neat looking Marvel Legends. It's one of my new favorite characters in the MCU. He's very good. Then we got Gore, and this movie sucked. Gore wasn't very good because he never really got the chance. I had to pick him up, though, because it's just such a cool looking figure, and he's just such a cool character in the comics, to where, as much as I would love to say I love the movie, I did not at all. And so I did pick up Gore because he was only... Where does it say the price at, actually? Let's just say it was $12. I guess this one doesn't say the price. But, oh, there it is. Oh, no, he was only $8.99. And so, of course, I had to pick him up. Cool figure, $8.99. Then the last one we got, my new favorite villain for this recent section of Marvel, U.S. Agent. And yes, I know this is the comics version and the TV version, but he's just such a cool character. He's such a complex character. He's such a character that works. So in my opinion, he's just one of the best characters. He gets too much hate on Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I think. He's just a really good character with really good moral values that really works, and I just think he's a great character in general. Alrighty, so that was my big haul, everything I watched in January. I plan on doing one of these movies per month, one of these videos per month. At least I hope I will, because I really enjoy doing these videos. I got a couple more videos coming up on my second channel. I got several on my first channel. I got a Velma review coming up that will be the next video I post, and a bunch more videos. But to see those, please comment down below. What did you watch in January? What did you pick up in January? With that said, subscribe, join the Nerd Army.